So today I'll just be talking about how to transition into tech in 2026, right? And I have a friend that is always sending me chats, telling me what AI will do, telling me AI will leave no crumbs, meaning there's no sector AI will not touch. And yesterday while I was discussing with your innocent, right? We're having that discussion. So he's always sending me screenshots, sending me chats. When I think there's no sector AI will not touch, robots perform surgeries, accuracy 99.9%. Now, I don't know if my wife can remember, when we went to visit someone, it was some weeks back, and the man was saying how his friend started selling drugs. He took the existing formula with the help of AI, updated the formula, sent it to China, and they brought in his own brand of drugs. And he told us the name. Right? We were like, wow. So there's no sense. So when my friend was telling me that AI will not leave any crumbs, it means AI will go through all sectors. It's going to touch every sector. And those of us in the tech sector, we can testify. We can testify to it. So I'll be talking about how to transition into tech generally. And the beautiful thing is that even if you're an accountant or you're a lawyer, at this point you should be leveraging technology, right? So, but if you don't even have the basic understanding of how this works, you can label, it can be your idea, and a tech guy can take the idea of, right? If you don't have this basic understanding, I have friends that their company's source code is with me. Do you understand? I'm not doing anything to that source code, but it's with me. Because they don't have the basic understanding of why your source code, their source code means what is making the application run now is with me, is under my name, right? So, and I've seen people see source code from their organs and say he doesn't know what this means, and the business is stranded. So at least you should have an idea for those of us who are accountants, right? Maybe tax experts. Now look at what is happening in Nigeria. Some of us have to file our tax return. But those of tax experts that didn't leverage technology, they are still wondering what is happening. Why some people, I have a friend that small business owners have been reaching out to me, and he has been doing their tax return for them for like 3 months now. Running. So it's very important for us to have this understanding. So let me continue. So the job you train for will not exist in the next 10 years. Even our skills. They asked one top guy in the US, they asked him, directors, they said, what should our children start learning? He said, honestly, I don't know. That was his question, his answer. They said, what should our children start learning now? He said, honestly, I don't know. They should just learn the basic of life, right? We should learn the basic things of life. Because even the people who are in charge of this thing, we don't know where we are going to, right? But Pastor Yemi Davis will say something. He calls it whispers of destiny, right? God will open our eyes to be able to see and seize opportunity, right? And that's the essence. So this might just be for one person, for you to be able to see an opportunity and seize it. You know, you can see an opportunity and not seize it, right? So for us to be able to see an opportunity and seize it. So the job you train for may not exist in 10 years, right? There are some courses that even people are still studying in university, we are looking at, they are just wasting your time.
Issues.
What are you doing with this course? So there are things, for example, even in the tech world, right? There's a skill set they call UI UX. My friend reached out to me last week, and he was telling me what he did with an AI tool. He said this because he's a UI UX expert. He said we are gone. I said, with this thing I'm seeing people are gone doing it, right? Because the thing literally built 50 pages of UI UX design, built structured even better than what it will take some of them weeks We have a UI guy, UI UX guy in my company now. When we are trying to refactor an application, we have been on it for like 2 months, right? But with that, we still need somebody that understands UI UX. If I handle that AI tool now, I will be struggling, right? Because that's not my forte. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the job we have trained for now may not exist in the next 10 years, right? Even if it exists, maybe someone who has leveraged technology, do you understand? Will just be ripping off what's, and the only thing we just be doing is be complaining. Praise God. So I just want us to be able to see, and our prayer now is, God, open my eyes to be able to see these opportunities and to be able to seize them. Alright? So let's speak to some data. So according to the World Economic Forum, 92 million jobs will be lost. And this data is 2023. If you are very conversant with the tech world, you will see that from Meta, the Meta ecosystem, to Amazon ecosystem, they laid off thousands of tech engineers. When I mean thousands, there was even a woman, she's the chief AI expert. She's like the chairman, the director. They laid out after she did so they laid out. So, but the beautiful thing is that 170 million jobs will be created. Now, the difference between people who maximize this opportunity are people who can upskill, do you understand? People who can retool their skill, people who can transition, people who can see opportunity and leverage. Now, prior to where I'm working now, I don't know that that kind of opportunity exists. If you get to the organization, you'll be looking at, in fact, you can even slap the director if you're not careful. But when you see their turnover, you'll be amazed. Even Junior cannot boast of those turnovers. So because he saw the opportunity and he seized it and he leveraged technology, the internal processes technology. The only thing we have not used technology for now is to move maybe the goods from here to up country, like maybe north or something. And very soon it will get there. I was on a call with someone in the US, and the guy just showed me a car, self-driving car. Yeah. So when I say AI will not leave any crumbs, it means it's going to touch every sector. So even you that are saying, no, it's linear, you will see that a machine will come and do it better, right? And the efficiency will be so fast that you'll be like, my God. So even if you are a teacher, you should also see that you can leverage technology. Praise God. You can leverage technology in what you do, right? We have a friend that resigned from a normal job just to be doing remote teaching. And he's in fact, he's learning well. My wife was even telling me that, this teaching thing is suiting this guy because he has leveraged what? Technology. All his students, they are not in Nigeria. So we have to be able to do that. Yes, we can't fight AI. Even the people who have invested heavily into AI, they don't know where it's taking us. But we just know that it's not going to leave any crumbs. It's going to touch every sector. It's going to do it perfectly well. It's going to reach out to every sector. So the beautiful thing is that when you look at the jobs displaced and the jobs created, that will be created, we have about 70-something million, if I'm not mistaken, 78 million. Now, those who will be in that bucket, that bracket of 78 million, are those who have leveraged what? Technology. Praise God. So why should Nigeria pay attention?
How did you use to do this?
If you look at it, right? If you look at it, I don't know if anybody you work with multinational, maybe directly or indirectly. If you have to interact with many of their tech team, who can guess the country that they will come from?
India.
Indians. I was on a call, was it last week? My wife was like, who is that guy that I'm talking to? The guy was like, she was just speaking her own English. I could barely hear. I was just saying, repeat yourself. Okay, I'm going to say this again. She was just saying it. But they are the ones, they leverage and they are going hard. They don't mind copying. Do you know that the way we have Google Meet, Google Workspace. There's another platform. They copied exactly what Google Workspace is doing, and they took it to another level, and they're now charging us in Naira. So I went like, they're charging us in Naira. I will be paying $7, $6 for Google Workspace, one user. Now I can pay 2.5, 3.5.
What's the name of the
So, right? I can pay 2.5, I can record my meetings, so that's what I do. But even with my students, I learn academy, right? I just switch to Zodex, I record the meetings, it's seamless for us. And I pay in Naira. So I'm not thinking of where the next few dollars. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So we have to have this culture shift, right? And mindset shift that, yes, Nigeria might look as if nothing is happening, but because we want to compete in the global space, we can't be thinking and be waiting till the reality hits us in Nigeria, right? We can't be waiting till it hits us in Nigeria. We can't be waiting for that. So why should Nigeria pay attention? And there are reasons why you should pay attention. We have so many untapped resources, right? That even our civil service alone, the manual things they are still doing them. If we leverage technology, people have those solutions. But let it be that when they call for the solution, you already have it on ground. It's not at that point you're not saying, yes, I need to, is in the pipeline. For those in the tech space, you understand, you say it's in the pipeline. No, the solution is on ground. So once there's need, or when there's a need for it, you can always spring up, I have the solution. I went for a conference last year, and our voting system, this guy, he created a solution that we, in fact, he made our voting system seamless. The only thing you just need to do is just use your face. Once you do that, you can vote. He made it seamless. It's ready. One day, maybe someone in government will need this thing. So we need to leverage this thing. So we can't just sit down. So let me share this story. I was in marketing, and for those of us that don't know, in fact, I worked with A-list celebrities. When I mean A-list celebrities, I even have some of their contact on my phone. Like people like Tiwa Sawi, Bola Boy. I worked with them, like not indirectly. You know, meaning of indirectly is maybe you are
indirectly, you know somebody that knows.
Yes, I know them. Like, so I've worked in marketing, but I was not finding fulfillment. Like, there's no drive again. I said, what do you want? And I saw that this is my skills. One small boy would just, I can do this thing. So I knew you are saying you want to collect this amount of money. This small boy will say, don't give me 200,000, 150, I will do it. The way we are going like this, all of us will be out of jobs soon. I saw it. I reached out to someone in my school who I graduated before him. He was doing well in the tech space. I said, I said, you can do this. So I started, but I was doing it though. I was still working though. So in the night, I hardly sleep. So I crashed. So I'm saying these things for some of us. It won't be easy. Like if you are working, right? It won't be easy. So when I come back like this in the night, I will do 4 hours stretch. And I don't advise you to do this. There's no tutorial video. I can't even watch. It's only God that is even helping me for messages. Tutorial video is 2x. My wife will be saying, I don't understand. I don't understand. I can't watch 1x. My stomach will be turning. That's just my personality. Don't try it, right? So, but 2x, even messages, I'll put it on.
What do you mean by 1x, 2x?
So, the speed of play, right? The speed of play. Even news things, I look for how to play 2x because I can't just understand 1x, right? So that's me. So I crash.
You are already too technical.
No. So 2x means, so the way I'm talking now is 1x. If you are going to play the video, it's 1x. So if you're starting, so that's 2x, right? There's even advanced one that is more than 2x, right? So if people don't, if there's no need, I don't think they will put it there. There are people who cannot just listen to 2x video to like, they want something faster. right? So it's like that. So I was I was coding. In fact, I was already building applications because the guy told me is that this tech you are jumping into, you are transitioning into, is not. In fact, it's not. Let me just digress a bit. There's a guy in my office now that just got a job. He's still an undergraduate. Finally, working with us, joining stand-up and checking. Right? By the time that guy will finish each service, he can never be on the same level with his classmate. I have a student in our academy, the guy too. I told him you can never in your life be on the same level with your colleague with this skill. Because this guy has gone into hardcore DevOps, right? So it's because he's writing his exam, we just have to wait for him. His cohort say, let's wait for this young man, right? He can never. So I'm saying this thing that, so he told me, he said, you have to build projects for people to see. Why am I saying that? These people are saying that you can build this, and you have not finished school, but you did this. How did you do it? They will give them a job. So he told me I should start doing things, not just watching endless YouTube videos. I should build things, get my hands dirty. And as I was turning out project, I was sending it to him. He said, makes sense, make this correction, make this adjustment. Then one day, my brother just called me and said, there's this course, so this course is about $3,000 US. People are paying. Have you heard of it before? I said, what? He said, DevOps. I've not heard of DevOps. Which one is that one again? He sent me the flyer. I said, I'm interested. Immediately he sent me the flyer. I saw the flyer. I said, I'm interested. I abandoned all this project I've been doing. I said, send me the videos. And I said, okay, we'll pay for the course. So they paid, you can pay instrumentally, they paid. So we forwarded through Telegram. So in fact, I was ahead in the class. I was telling him more videos. He said, calm down, Baba, calm down. Reality, he was telling me calm down. So eventually I finished the course. My brother now called somebody else. That guy has been stuck for like a year in that course. He now called him and said, my brother has finished that course. That guy says it's a lie. That guy now put the call through me. The guy was just asking questions. I was answering. The guy said, yeah, you know this thing, the man picked up the course back. In fact, when he got his first job, it was he's in the US, so we can't compare. I had that issue too when I was applying for jobs in Nigeria. Because my peer, most of them are in the US, so they say, I got a job $9,000, $7,000. So when I'm applying in Nigeria, they say, you want to give me this amount of money? I say, I'll take it. You can't work for me. Until my brother now comes, it's US, so that's the minimum standard for them, right? So I'm saying that, I'm just sharing my experience to see that it wasn't easy. And at the same time, I was working, I was going to work, we have deliverables. Sometimes you have to go for shoots, you have to stay morning till night. Sometimes you have to manage some unruly celebrities. Do you understand? You have to do all those things. At the same time, I was doing it. I'm saying this that it will be easy for some of us, for some people to be easy. Some people don't just, once they see anything cold like this, they start having one stomach, right? But it's not like that. There are other parts in tech that you don't need code, right? Now, in fact, what is even said more is system design. People are saying the system design. My friend still sent me screenshots now. That system design, AI has touched it. And it sets me move. Alright? So I'm saying this to let us know that it's not late. Right? It's not late. There are several opportunities, right, in technology. And the prayer is for God to open our eyes to see and seize those moments. They call it kairos moments, right? To seize it. He wants to see it. So why should Nigeria pay attention to it? So we are not behind, right? We are just under leverage. We are not behind in technology. Do you understand? And we have, Africa has less than 3% of the global AI talents. Less than 3%. So you see that there's massive opportunities for us. We have less than 3%. All the global AI talent in the world, not just Nigeria, the whole of Africa, we have less than 3%. Less of equals to 3%. So there's massive opportunity. So caveats, and I'll put a caveat. These earnings are mostly for senior. So senior tech people. Now let me give you a story. Let me share a story. So where we learned DevOps, their mantra is that they will promise you high-paying jobs. So, but it's not. That's not the reality, right? The reality is some of them didn't tell us that some of them had to interview more than 50 times, right? Some of them received rejection more than 30 times. Like, so, but the more you interview, the better you become, right? With your presentation, even with your own skills, right? They didn't tell us. They will just share the testimony. They will share the testimony and say, so in a class of 400, they say this, and people get really good job. In the US, there are guys that were doing like 450 a year. There were guys that were doing 600 a year. I've not heard, I was there, I saw it, 600 a year.
Like
$600,000, yes, a year, per annum. Guys in the US. So, but some people, it was not immediately. So that's why I have to be caveated that in Nigeria, massive opportunities rather, and you know, massive opportunities. So you can see across the spectrum, some even earn higher than this, way higher than this, right? But we are just working with the average. So we have a transition model. So first, you have to reframe your identity. You have to choose the path. You have to learn strategically, right? You have to build projects, like I said earlier, and you have to become visible. Now, the mistake some of us made is that we don't document what we've been doing, right? So we don't document. So even if it's somebody you mentor, right, for like 2 months, that's progress. But you know, we're not in the habit of documenting in this part of the country. So we've done a lot of things that you will not see that when they now ask you, have you done this before? You will not be saying, yeah, I've done it. But you are aware of the documentation. Where is your documentation? Right? So you have to make sure that you become visible. It's part of documentation. Become visible. Post on LinkedIn, attend conferences, right? Join community group. I'm in a group where the top guys in DevOps in this country are. Top guys. If AWS want to host a conference in Nigeria, they will reach out to those guys in that group, from that group, right? And I can tell you that I've learned sometimes I don't comment in more, just by reading charts, I've learned Jesus a lot. Is it books? Is it people who are stuck on their current job, right? They are stuck with a bug or an issue, you know, and they just post it. People just give them. You can see 7 ways to resolve that issue, right? So that's part of it too. So it becomes visible. So I had to start attending conferences. So it's part of the transition model. You don't need to get into the job fully before you start attending conferences, right? If you have seen a part you are interested in, you know, start attending conferences. Look for top guys on LinkedIn. Yes, we say people make noise. Yes, there are a lot of people that make noise. And there are also people who make noise and they know what they are doing, right? So you need to look for those people. Seek mentorship. Choose a path. Tech is very broad. Choose a path that you want to follow. Reframe your identity. It might not work for some of us. Some of us, you can put it on your LinkedIn that my former job is this, right? This is my new path. It might work for you. Some of us, we have to create a new LinkedIn account, right? Just to show that this is our new path. I've trained over 300 small, medium enterprise real business owner, not WhatsApp business. Really business owner. I've trained them like, there was even, and I've even worked with, in my marketing role, I work with Opera. I work directly with the foreign guys. So, and it was a training unit, so I was exposed to a lot of these things, right? So, do you know I didn't document all those things? Sometimes when people want to bring some of these things, I'll just be laughing, right? I didn't document, so don't make that mistake. Document every process. If you come to LinkedIn, you see people learning. They will share their learning journeys, right? They'll say, this is what I've been doing in the past few weeks, right? What are you doing? You're documenting, you're also putting yourself out, positioning yourself as, see me, it's recruiters that will be coming to your DM and saying, can we schedule a call? Can we? So you have to document it. So we are in an era where if you are not a content creator, you might not eat. You might not eat, right? So somebody can just come and whether you understand it or not, as far as this guy can solve my problem, right? I'll subscribe to his channel. And you that are even very good, you're forming introverts. So it's just a matter of time, you might not be. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to. Somebody has done a video, the video is on YouTube. Go and search, pick a keyword, put it on YouTube. You will see hundreds of videos. So if one person says, this person has done this video, let me leave it like that. No, pick the video. I can add to this thing this guy has done. Improve on it, push it out. Be organic. You see that people will watch it, right? So reframe yourself. Choose a part. Choose a part. When I say choose a part, right? And that's where we are believers too. I need to be led, right? Don't say because people are going into it. If you come and meet me now and say, what should I do? I will just give you any knowledge, right? I will just say, because of this data, I think you should go into cyber security. Do you understand? Because of this thing I'm saying. I will just give you from head knowledge. I'll just give you an example of that. So choose a path, right? It can be inspired. It can be you listening to conversations and you get whispers of destiny, right? Somebody just say, this thing, have you heard of it before? In fact, Nigeria's economy is not wired like that. In the US, you just be seeing nonsense IT courses. IT, government, IT. What is this? Do you understand? Some of them just did a course. Bam. In Nigeria, if it's like that, so you have to put in the work. When I mean put in the work, even with the progress of AI, most people still lack the basics. So anything you want to learn, make sure you understand the basics, right? See, you can be in an interview panel and the guy will just ask you one basic question, right? And that's what we get to the job. So understand the basics. Even in your communication, people will know that you understand the basics. And that's how you can even use some of these AI tools very well, right? Read books. I have pending books on them that I'm reading. And let me even share this story. So I interviewed for one job, and this is about procrastination. I interviewed for one job. So I've been reading this book for like 6 months. So I just left the page. And after the interview, during the interview, the director of IT, the top brand in Nigeria, asked me a question. And he used a keyword. I said, sir, can you explain further? Part of what you also learn in academy is also how to intervene, right? So there's a bros. I said, how many percent skills do you have in all these things you listed? He said 70%. I said, apply. He said, cannot apply. I said, apply. He said, what of this other 20? I said, I will send you YouTube videos. Go and watch all those YouTube videos. When they ask you, you will tell them that you've not done this thing on production level, but you are vast with it. He said, yes. He did that. They asked him, he said he has not worked. Production level means people are not using the application, right? So, but you have, I said, watch it, eat that video. And he did it. And lo and behold, they asked him, he said, they have not worked with this production level. But you see this one that worked with, you can't collect it. And that's how he got the job. So back to my other story. I interviewed for the job. The man used the keyword. I've not heard that keyword before. So I said, and I was honest with him, I said, can you explain that keyword? And I explained it. I said, and I gave him scenarios. Lo and behold, when after the interview, like few days, I just opened this book. and it was the next heading, that keyword in the mind, the next heading of that book. And that guy gave solid backing to that keyword that I was like, God, see what procrastination has cost us, right? So in the process of learning to, because how the time is going, you can't waste time. You can't leave a course and do it for 9 months. We don't have, you can't leverage on that kind of thing anymore. You have to do it and make sure you do it to the end, right? So, learn strategically, have mentors. Now, if you come and meet me, you want to learn DevOps, like we have students in our academy. We don't waste time on some. When I learned it, we did some nonsense tools, right? We don't waste time. Me, I'm in the field, I'm working. I know what they want. Do you understand? So we don't waste time, right? And that's the difference on learning some other tools. That, what do you want to do with this one? Even some, they taught us 1, 2 for like 2 months. Something you can learn in 2 weeks. And the man will be dragging the two, right? So you have to, but now you don't have that kind of time to waste, right? So once you set your heart to do it, learn strategically, do 90 days plan, do 60 days plan, break it down in the next 3 months. This is what I want to achieve. And you know that it's your projects that will speak for you. I have a teenager that is preparing for JAM right now. I don't know if they've written the exam. So when he started, he doesn't know what a laptop is. To run a laptop. But by the time, after like 2 years, the things he built, right, we're looking for internship role for this youth. Now, that young guy, at some point we have to tell the mom that we'll be paying you, because she said, I need this boy to go and work. We said we'll be paying you for this boy to finish this thing, right? Because we know that once he finishes, we're not even saying he might see. I started as a web developer, a software developer. I left it, I abandoned it. Do you understand? But the knowledge I had there really helped me when I pivoted into DevOps, right? I'm not saying he's going to work with him, but I'm saying what has happened to him at that age is very different. We have the same other teenagers that when we give them laptop to code, they don't know, they think they are dealing with French people. They will be doing bets like that. And once they see me, they just press a shortcut to wipe off everything. I need to press shortcut to bring up everything. I say, dude, why are you doing all this kind of thing now? Now the difference is, even when their father came and saw that other thing, that he was like, this boy beats this thing, this boy beats this thing, this boy did this thing. I'm saying all this thing that boy spent 2 years because he doesn't have anything he's doing. He will just come in the morning, sit down with his laptop, and be doing. Sometimes he will go, but we don't have that time again. You can't spend 2 years learning something. By the time you are done learning it, 1 year IT is already there, doing everything from end to end, right? So, after about becoming visible, build project, very important. Build project, and we have a single source of truth in tech. If I say I've done this, you say send me link, send me your GitHub, this thing. Let me see. One guy did something last year, was he early last year? 20 years old, he listed all the things he has achieved. That even my colleague was saying, 20 years old boy. So but he pasted the link of the open source he contributed. So people now clicked on that link to go and see his contribution. Open source means we have applications running that is open source, it's free for people to use it. But it's the community, we are the ones making the tool work by contributing to the effectiveness and the functionality of that tool. That's the best way I can explain it so you can understand, right? So this mic is open source, it's free. But somebody is making sure the mic is still talking, somebody is making sure the battery is still functioning. So the guy said he contributed to that project and he made noise about it. We now click on the link. What did you even do, sir? At least we will see your PR that he raised, we will see your community. We now saw that he added comments to something. Everybody just used. That's how it is, it's a single source of truth. So if you say you have done something, people will go and check it out and look at the quality of what, even before they interact with you, they are looking at your projects, right? So you have to do things that are meaningful, impactful, and make sense, things that you can speak to, right? You can speak to and explain. So don't just consume tutorials randomly. There are so many tutorials that don't make any sense. Don't just sit down and be studying. Do you understand? Projects, proof of skill. That's it. You have to have proof that yes, create real world solution. I don't know if guys still do it, but then I'll see guys they will redesign Coca-Cola, they will redesign, and they will push it out online. They will just do massive designs. I don't know if people still do it now. They will do massive design, redesign everything. And when you see it, you'll be like, wow. They'll push it out. Some of them, the brand will say, we don't need this design, but we appreciate you. Do you understand? But what are they doing? They are creating real life projects where other people who are not up to Coca-Cola can say, I can work with this guy. And that's how it works. There's a single source of truth. You can't be saying, I know it's in my head. No. What have you done? So you're on debt, right? So there are pathways, I don't know, maybe they like to. There are pathways into tech. We have the non-technical, we have the semi-technical, and we have the technical. So I used to tell people, I used to say if you can talk very well, you are sweet with words, you have good, strong communication skills. I said you can thrive when it comes to product management or technical tech sales, right? Because you can sell things, you understand, your comprehension skills is solid. You can relate with the investors and get what they want, and you can relate the information back to the developers and the software guys that this is what they want. And even tech guys, you tell them, guys, begin to learn soft skills. Do you understand? Don't just be coding and be coding. Because most tech guys cannot even sell what they do. Do you understand? Some of them are just building application for their own taste. They can't get feedback. Some of them don't do well with feedback from investors. And it's who wants the money that will dictate how everything will go. So there are non-technical aspects that, so some of us that ran away from sales and marketing because of targets, welcome back to it. There's technical sales, do you understand? In fact, I don't think there's a career path that they are not already leveraging technology. Do you understand? So just look at what you are doing. I have lawyers who are transitioning into tech right now. And I told the man, I said, sir, what you are doing makes sense.
You know my personality. So what area of tech would you advise that I can pursue and I will not struggle? I can learn fast. That's number one question. Number two question is, what's the difference between product management and project management? Because in your presentation, you reference product management. There was no reference to project management. Is project management not tech? You know, that's my second question. Thank you.
Okay. So the first question. So basically, right, like I said, it's not everybody that will code, right? I think you need to look at what you're already doing and see how you can leverage technology. So my boss doesn't know how to code, but he knows how to leverage technology. So he got an idea. He used existing SaaS products. Do you understand? Like he bought like an entire, for example, I don't know if we still have some of this. What's this today? They used to build websites. Is this still functioning? Yeah? That will give you a whole website. You just plug and play, drag and edit. I don't know. WordPress. See, you know, we are still looking for. We still have WordPress, but then it used to be hot cake, right? WordPress means I need an e-commerce site. I sell shoes, right? I need an e-commerce site. I don't have the money to go and employ somebody to build the site to my taste. So I will just go to WordPress, look for e-commerce examples. So they built ready-made websites, right? So I will just pick one and plug and play, edit, change. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So you might not have the technical skills, but look at what you are doing, how you can leverage technology. And once opportunity comes, seize those opportunities. Don't say, I don't know how to code. Start something. My boss, when they started with Junior, he started with Junior too. But that e-commerce business is not child's play in Nigeria. He started with Junior. He said they would deliver everywhere in Lagos, in Kogodu, and deliver everywhere. And that day, that month, they might not make 10 million naira. And look at the number of bikes, look at the overhead cost. Look at the overhead cost that will take you to service the whole of Lagos. You just reduce it to main island and added only Ikeja. So if you are buying anything from us and it's not Ikeja and island, you are not selling. Right? What did you do again? One of his clients said, you guys deliver on time. Can you be delivering only this thing to us? And it was that delivery. From that delivery, they made over times 10 or what, times 3 of what they used to make in a month, in a day. So, that's how my boss abandoned. He said, everybody in the organization said, do you know what I can say? Yes. Abandoned the e-commerce, abandoned everything, and faced that business model that I have seen. Faced it, and that was what it was doing, servicing only enterprise. It doesn't have business with B2C. So the money they used to do delivery for 20, 2,000 customers, we will use 10% to service one enterprise. Why am I saying this? I'm saying is that you don't need to code, right? Just look at what you're already doing. How can you leverage technology? But it's also good to have understanding of some of these things. So I've seen people, like I said earlier on, I've seen people who, their entire application, what they are celebrating, dancing, that this is what I've done, is with somebody. Is under somebody's GitHub account, private account. So the day you fall out to the person, or the person is no more, and you want to make changes to them, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, it's gone. That's what they call source code, it's gone. Right? So even my friends, I'll tell them, okay, create a GitHub account, make me, give me access to your GitHub account, then I will do what I want to do on their own GitHub account, right? But most people will not do that because that's their own stick. Do you understand? Because you don't have this understanding. So that's why it's also good to be able to look at what you're already doing. How can you leverage technology? If it's copy that is heavy in your heart, copy what somebody has already done, just do it well. I know a fintech company that how they got more customers on that. You know they buy this POS paper. Yeah? Their own is they give it free to their customer. So that thing alone is bringing customer. Just giving people that POS paper for that POS terminal for free. So even if you are in Kogodu, they have agents that will bring it to you. So just tell them that I need POS paper, they will bring it to you. Because of that, people started, they're giving you paper. So you never can tell how people think, most especially in marketing. Somebody bought land because of rice. Yes. Why, if it's not working, why are they doing it? Why would they say land? Land is available because of land. I don't know. You know, if it's not working, people will not keep doing it. That means it's doing wonders. So like, I don't know if I've answered your question. Look at what you're already doing. See how you can leverage technology. Right? See how you can leverage technology in what you're already doing. If you're not still seeing that there's no way in what you're doing, right? Like, you can also learn cybersecurity, but there's a little bit of coding. You know? We used to say a touch of coding. There's no tech skill that will give you money, real money, that you will not do touch of coding.
That product managers, touch of coding, that product.
So at least there's no, well, no touch of coding like that. But product managers who understand coding, right? I've seen them do wonders, right? So you can, and even as a product manager, you don't really know how to, you don't really need to know how to code, right? But you should know what you are doing. You should know your products. That's why you are the product manager. You are the owner of these products. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Gmail is a product. So we have in outside Nigeria, you know, in Nigeria, product manager will be doing everything. Will be testing, will be doing this one, will be organizing stand-up, right? Outside Nigeria, we have product owner. Do you understand? We have product manager. So even in that Gmail, we will break it down for some people and say, this is what you should be handling. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So you should need to understand, if you deal with developers a lot, maybe it's a button the guy changed in a day. And if you don't really know your audience, the guy will just be telling you, I did this. So you need to pay attention to details. I've seen them fire the product manager because he doesn't pay attention to details, right? So that is one skill you can't even give up as a product manager. Then projects, even from the name, you understand? In a project, you have several product managers. Mr. Innocent, am I correct? In a project, you have a lot of product managers. Do you understand? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. In a massive project, project manager, we have a lot of product managers. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Gmail is a product. Google Meets is a product.
Google Drive.
Do you understand? Google Drive is a product. So one person cannot be the product manager of all those things. Do you understand? I don't know, you wake up to maybe there's Merry Christmas, you go to Google search, you see that they've designed the search to have the cap. Do you understand? Somebody did that overnight. You just wake up to see changes in your application, right? And you will see that there's downtime. There's a product manager. Some people say, yeah, product owner, right? Sometimes it can be. In Nigeria, one person can be doing everything. You can be product manager, product owner, product. We do tester, we will test it, you know. But I don't know if I've answered your question.
Thank you. So again, I think that thank you so much, Obi. You're going to take that one more question. Because I'm also particular about, you know, that question that PF asked.
The first one.
About how that it's just the, you know, for that that pivoting, because that, I think that's the point that changes everything for many people, you know, that exposure to that environment or that skill or that thing they want to learn or where they want to function. So I think again, emphasizing on that bit is important. So I wanted to say that I've done both actually. There are, I don't know what you call it, there are software. Some of them are particularly owned by these tech organizations, but there are software where you can input your details and they can suggest. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like putting your CV. So I think it might just be, in general, it can work, all right? And then obviously you can also use AI. I did both, and it turned out that I think it was safe. I mean, I just literally lifted my CV or I put it and said, okay, see, what's the easiest tech pivoting, you know, point here? And then it gave me a list and said, see, based on your background, we can identify that you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. The easiest tech pivot for you will be product design. It will be this, it will be that, it will be this, it will be that, you know. So I think that just might be something that somebody just wants to do, you know, just so that you have it. You are looking at it, then I now went to begin to search on those things. So okay, yeah, what is I watched a couple of YouTube videos. Okay, what was this? Because to be honest, we're hitting that you feel like, well, now everything is being technified. I'm telling you, it's the limit that gets man now in technified. I was watching one and they said, instead of having you see huge infrastructure abroad, there's nobody watching over it. All of us will close and be going home. You'll be looking at, wait, they're not carrying this thing for you know, but there's somebody who's watching. That's the funny thing. And then it's all being programmed. There's a button that will sound the alarm. There's one that links to the police. There's one that links to, you know, whoever is now the guy. There's somebody watching it, but it's all being, you know, technified. So yeah, and I really do think that it's something we want to look at.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Makes sense. Even during wars, right? I don't know if you are following. You see that the use of
technological advancements, all those crazy things. You see tech, great.
I think you already talked about it. I don't want to just need to show and shed more light on the aspect of having more skills. So like my question is that am I wrong for going for more certifications over university degrees? Like, okay, instead of me going for masters in a particular course or additional for courses like that, am I wrong for choosing just maybe online courses like Udemy, go for some certifications maybe like CompTIA, CCNA, and all those things? Am I wrong for taking that over the university or the normal regimented 2 years in school, hands-on study? That's one. The second question is, how do I now protect my intellectual ideas, properties? Like, I'm not sure I heard of that. The idea of Facebook was actually stolen. I don't know how true it is, but I think I heard that Mark Zuckerberg was the person they gave to design. He was not actually the one that came up with the idea. Eventually, he stole the idea, blah, 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 and he's now the owner. So, like, now how, I don't know how to code now, and I have an idea. I think you touched something like that. So, how do I now protect it and make sure that it is my own and does not get stolen by anybody?
That one is, the first one is general question. You can, as a professional, let me just say, benefit of it as a lecturer. If you want to teach in a university, you need a master's degree. If that's not your calling, you don't need a master's. Go and do certification that will put money in your pocket. That's it. To buttress that, I was speaking with an intending couple this week. So the wife didn't go to university. She's a tailor. And I asked the guy was my student. When I was teaching, I said, I hope you don't have problem with that. The guy said, I will get problem with that. Most of us that finish university, they are going back to learn tailoring now. So this person did not waste our time. Does that make sense? So you understand? And then the environment. If na Nigeria you want to go teach, get masters. If you know everything in this world, and you don't have masters, you cannot function in university.
So, what I'm thinking about, at times, sorry sir, if you go for, I don't know, maybe there's any HR person there. I wanted to have used them before, but don't let me talk.
HR is
Because at times, when you look at your CV,
HR is a big organization.
when you look at your CV and they say that, okay, probably you studied Yoruba or you studied something, and you're now applying for a job in another field entirely. Probably you just did some courses and you don't have an idea of, you know, like, why are you transitioning? Why are you moving from blah, blah, blah? Why? And when you have other people, other candidates that even study that in the university, they already have that so
like you said, like I will stand on what you have said, but just to add to it. Some industries, right, you don't need a lot of certifications. Some their certifications are very expensive, right? I'm talking about $300, $800, right? So now the challenge is you also have to understand the terrain. For example, if you are into AWS, maybe your strength is AWS cloud, right? There are a lot of people who have that certificate. Some even if you check their profile, you see 13x, it means 14 times. I have this certificate 14 times. Some 17x, some they even have there's what they call Q what? They give them jackets, golden jackets. Means this guy, he has everything about this platform. He understands it. But once you see that terrain is saturated, what will distinguish you? You can still do certificate, but you don't need to go 13x, or except you want to go as a community builder, or you want to, do you understand? Just do maybe the basic certification. What will now make you stand out is the projects that people can see. So what you have done, people have done certification, they ask them and say, oh yeah, this you say you're an expert, oh yeah, this is the solution. They give you scenarios-based question, and you're not like, and because most people just want to pass their exam, right? And just to get so project, I don't know the kind of field you're talking about, but project, people need to see, you need to, sometimes I tell people that anything you can't find on YouTube, It's very rare. It's hard to. How can you protect? How you can protect? See, like the basic level. You have an idea. You need to protect your source code. You can work with maybe somebody you trust, like maybe you're innocent. You know that you cannot run away with your source code. But you know, when you begin to get to the marketplace, people want to buy your idea. You either sell or you die. Not literally die, do you understand? You either sell or they kick you out of your company that you have built. Even this open AI, you know there was a time they kicked the guy out of open AI, right? It was revolt that brought the guy back. So even Apple that we are celebrating was kicked out of it. So, you know, investors dictate. I've seen somebody shut down his whole application because investors took it. Do you understand? They are just waiting for him to make a mistake. And he made the mistake and they hijacked the idea. Do you understand? So at that point, right, you need to be street smart. Do you understand? Even people that are working with you, developers, your CTOs, they can go behind and go and work with investors and take your company. You just wake up one day and see that company is gone, right? But the thing is that if it's really somebody's idea that is genuine, do you understand? You can always be, some you can't replicate, do you understand? You can't replicate. You can always do something similar. The guy that sold Twitter, do you understand? You know he has other this thing that, you know that it's inbuilt. Do you understand this?
So we are going to get into that in a few minutes, and then speaker IDSC is on ground. It's one of us, been a part of us for many, many years. I've known him also from way back in campus. Those days, okay, so I'll just give you a minute if you don't mind. Please bow your heads and speak to the Lord again. Ask Him to first of all refresh you. Ask Him to refresh you. We all need it. We need to be refreshed. So ask Him to refresh your body, your mind, very important, so that you can take in what we are about to hear. Ask Him also to refresh your spirit so that you can be allowed to discern the things that matter. In moments like these, I want you to believe God, not just for your mind to be furnished with information, not just that your eyes be enlightened to business opportunities, but that your spirit may retain that which is specific for you. It's important. Lift your voice and talk to the Lord. Many years ago, I was in a conversation with the prophet of the Lord. And he said to me, some guy stood before him and said, things are difficult. I don't know how to navigate. The voice of the Lord came to him and he said to him, he said, go and begin to sell beans. Ewa. He said, the guy looked at him very ridiculously. He said, sir, I'm a master's holder. What do you mean? He said, the man walked away angrily. When things did not get better, the young man made an attempt. As he made an attempt, business opportunities opened for him to begin to supply one of the hotels on the island. I don't want to mention names. Very popular. He supplied the first bid, the second bid. That's how the guy broke into wealth from selling bids. Information is general. There is one that is specifically for you, and missed many that will be shared. That's why I'm asking you to take it serious. There is a prophetic moment, even in the dispensation of information. It's not just to enlighten your mind. It's not just to inform you. You are a believer. These things must count. It's to step into specific folds of wealth. Kenneth Copeland said, the voice of the Lord came to him, buy this land. He said, what should I do with it? I don't need it. It's a derelict place. He said he reluctantly bought a little portion of it. A few years later, he found oil. In that, just in case many of you are asking, how is this guy wealthy? That's the reason. He has given, from what I heard, 40-something jets to other ministries. That's one man on the face of the earth. Wow. The prophetic advantage that he took advantage of in the midst of mundane information. I'd like you to believe God for this moment. Open your heart. I want you to connect in your mind that our God makes you wealthy. It's not mundane, it's spiritual. God makes you wealthy. He said, gold is mine, silver is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. Are you following what I'm saying? Don't let men and women of this world talk us out of being wealthy. Some people are afraid of being wealthy already. Some of us are already thinking that it takes away your holiness. No. God wants to prosper his people. The Bible says he freely gives us all things to enjoy. He wants you to enjoy. God is not afraid. He's not nervous of you getting wealthy. His question is, are you ready? Do you trust him? He is the one who gives you power to make wealth. Lord, we turn to you today. Looking for people. Particularly looking for people who sponsor. Next, don't worry, I will write all the debt. I will write it off. Because God has prospered me. Father, I receive myself. I receive. I receive. We look to you, God, who blesses. Help us in this moment. Son. Jesus. Mighty. Amen. Are you ready to receive this evening? Put your hands together if you don't mind, everybody. And let's welcome Apostle, the financial apostle. My friend, my brother, Samson.
So just like Pastor has said, wealth is spiritual. Our provincial pastor shared a story Sunday, and he mentioned that Pastor Eniji went to Philippines for a crusade recently, and the budget was $1 million. Just one person gave him $100,000.
Jesus Christ.
So it means that there are believers that are doing great. That's like close to the millionaire.
$1 billion.
Yeah. So
I'm coming.
it means that
I'm coming.
it means that there are already believers that are doing great, mighty things.
$1 billion.
So wealth is spiritual, just like he said. That's the honest truth. 2 times Jesus told Peter that he should cast his net before resurrection and after resurrection. So, and we also have it on record that God told Isaac not to go to Egypt, right? So, and we've seen various scenarios where God is interested in our financial well-being. You know, when Job separated from Abraham, God said, I am your shield and your exceedingly great reward. And we have a situation in the Bible. The only person that could go and ask for the body of Jesus was an influential person. We started paying our parts of the war. Fuel is now 1,230. So that is the portion. That's the portion of our own. And I think this week the Pentagon was asking for $200 billion. So the global economy is going through a lot of uncertainty since President Trump came in last year, January. For those that have been facing the financial market, it's been upside down. It's not been straightforward the way it used to be. So we have generally high interest rate environment, which means that central bank all over the world will keep increasing interest rates. And high interest rates means that those outside the country, mortgages will be high, etc., etc. So let me focus more on the Nigeria economy because we're in Nigeria. For those that are in business, okay,
So if you don't mind, please take us through the market. Some of us are building small players. We want to know what's going on outside.
Outside. Maybe we'll go back to
Yeah.
that. Alright. So for Nigeria, since the Tinubu regime came into being, there have been a lot of changes. We have valuation of the naira, we have subsidy removal, CPN has been increasing interest rates in order to fight inflation. Inflation has been coming down. So whether we like it or not, except God says no, Tinubu is going to be winning the next election.
I think so.
Right? So we don't have opposition, so there's nothing anybody can do except God. So, and for those in business, the best time for them is this Tinubu regime. Irrespective of whatever anybody says, there is stability in exchange rates, businesses can plan. MTN had loss maybe 2 years ago, now they bounce back, business are bouncing back. Things are, as at last week, I think the external reserve was $50 billion, and things are already started picking up in the Nigeria economy. But the issue is that for the layman, they've not started feeling the effects. That's the honest truth. But what we've realized is that we are now, the bonus that we've been eating since the day of our grandfathers, it is now that we are now paying for it. Because Nigeria was living on a time bomb. And if not for what the president bodily did, this country would have been a mess. Because for those that have the inside knowledge, the last regime was a purely mess. Emefiele did a lot of mess. Buhari regime was. So thank God for the Tinubu regime. Irrespective of whoever becomes the president, they would have done the same thing. So let's leave the politics aside. They've made a lot of good decisions. We have also the new tax law, which they are trying to, bring all the government sources of income into one. So those are what is happening in the economy. So the removal of fuel subsidy, unification of the exchange rates, interest rate is high currently in order to fight inflation. The introduction of Dangote refinery and the new tax legislation. So the challenges in the economy are no doubt the high cost of living. It's not easy to have a source of income now in this current regime. It's a very, very serious thing. The debt servicing is still high. There is security crisis. There are still farmers and herders clashes. The reason why food is still expensive, number one, apart from the security challenges, there are issues with laborers. Hardly will you find someone that wants to do a laborer job. Some of them now have access to mobile phone. They want to, maybe some of them want to ride bike, etc., etc. I do a little bit of farming, and I can say that for you to get a laborer to work, it takes time now, because all of them are now becoming wiser, or the money they will call for you is always high. So there's still poverty in the environment. So, but irrespective of all of these issues, and whether we like it or not, there are still some people that will become richer, while some people will become poorer. The chairman of PUA, Rabiu, I don't know if you follow the Forbes, you saw that his wealth doubled in this period. So people are getting richer. In fact, some people, Tinubu's regime is a blessing to them, while some are getting poorer. So my focus today, and especially as it pertains to us, is the last one, the Nigerian stock market bullish run. It's it has been like blood money in the stock exchange, and this is where the opportunities lie now in the Nigeria economy. So the last 2 or 3 years, the market capitalization was like 62 trillion. Now, as at this week, 130 trillion. So look at, it's not something that happened before. The stock market is experiencing massive growth. This week, it was 200,000 basic points. Last year, the exchange did about 51%. 2024, 37. As at today already, it's already doing 31%. So, you know, before, as at 2008, when there was financial crisis, everybody ran away from everything, equity, this, that. But for the past 2-3 years, this has been what people are getting a lot of money from, opportunities. So this is a key opportunity in the current Nigerian dispensation. So as at 2020, okay, as at today, the oil and gas sector is doing 31%, insurance 11%, consumer goods 3%, banking. So we are in a bullish environment currently in the Nigeria stock market, and we need to pay attention to what is happening because more is still going to happen, and I will explain better. So throughout the African stock market, there have been a lot of bullish run, there have been a lot of opportunities. If you look at it, Malawi did 247% last year, Zambia 66%, Nigeria was 51%, etc., etc. So what this means for us is that stock is no more for the rich. A retail investor can also have opportunity to participate through brokers, through your mobile phone. You can buy shares, you can hold, you can make money. So wealth is being created quietly in the market. A lot of persons are making a lot of money in the Nigeria stock exchange. So there's an opportunity ahead, which is the Dangote refinery. If you miss this opportunity, it will be a painful experience. Let me give you an example. MTN has done 400% since they did their IPO in, I think, 2019. And for those that didn't take advantage of that, it was like it's a painful thing. Because MTN is currently like 700 and something naira now. So imagine buying MTN when it was 190, I think 190 or 150, and you held to now. So Dangote refinery IPO is something no one should miss, because number one, it's going to be the largest IPO in Africa, and the value is $40 or $50 billion. So one of the reasons why it is an opportunity is because Dangote does not usually float all of his shares. Just like the reason why BUA is one of the richest men. Those guys are smart. BUA Food and BUA Cement, they are two different shares that were floated. He has about 95% of the shares. So what is floating is 5%. So everybody is struggling for 5% of BUA Cement. So alright, praise God. So Dangote is not going to float everything. NNPC already has about maybe 10% or so. Dangote is maybe they will float maybe like 10%. So whatever all of us we are fighting for is the 10% that is floating. So another opportunity is that he has said that the dividend is going to be either in naira or in dollars. So which means that there are going to be a lot of foreign guys that want to partake The other thing is that we know that Nigeria is a system that does not work. Our national refinery, irrespective of anything, is not going to work except they sell it. So Dangote is a player in a system where it will keep being a monopoly. He said he's going to be increasing it by additional maybe 650 or so. So there is a future prospect in this. So this is not just an investment, this is a generational opportunity. So one thing I must make clear is that the kind of money you invest in shares must not be the money you are not willing to lose. That's one key thing. You can't invest short-term money in stock markets. No. So you have up till now, you have from now till I think the third quarter for you to start gathering money and take this as an opportunity, because it's going to be massive, and for those that buy at introduction and hold, it's going to be like a generational wealth that is going to be created. So this is an opportunity that we should not miss. NNPC also plan to have their IPO. So, but I think for that one, because it's still under government kind of control, so just leave anything government oriented. It's going to go up, no doubt, but the challenge is government still has control. So, how do we take advantage of this equity, bull run, all of them? Number one, you need to have a brokerage account, and there are brokers in Nigeria that made it easy. Medicine, Bamboo, etc., etc., African Invest. Just go to their website, open a brokerage account, you will get a CSCS number, and you can start buying shares. So the next thing we need to know is financial education is very, very important. Because you have money and access to an app does not mean you can just buy at any time. That is when knowledge and training comes. You must know when to buy. You must know when to take profit. You must know when to sell. If you don't know all of this, you are going to lose money. So that's why education is very, very important. You don't just buy shares for buying sake. I had a friend that bought $3,000 Tesla. He's just a layman. They're like, money was okay, and he just bought that. The next time I called him, he said, he just sold it because it was coming down. No. It's like a monkey that is climbing from one tree to the other. No. So education is very, very important. The richest fund managers in the world, they don't just buy at any price. There's a place called support. They buy at support, they sell at resistance, etc. Buy using moving average, etc., etc. So education is very, very important. That you must not joke with. So prepare your capital early. Like I mentioned, for me now, I've started gathering my money for Dangote IPO. No, it's not open. Third quarter, I think third quarter. My wife was still telling me about our chair that we need to change. I was not telling her that this is not a priority. She said, what's the priority? I said we should be saving and investing. So I was saying that there is a Dangote refinery that is coming in Q3. I'm not going to wait until it comes before I start looking for money. No. I've started allocating money, savings, all of them. So once it launch out, we are getting ready. And I know at least I must buy this amount of money. I must buy at least this amount. And the money I'm using to buy it is not a money that I'm going to need in the next 5 years. I'm buying and holding. I'm buying and keep buying when I see opportunity to buy. So let's make sure our capital is prepared early. So I have a case study here. It's not clear. This MTN. MTN was around 150 2019. It is now 758. I don't have MTN in my portfolio, but because of my knowledge, I'm waiting for MTN to pull back before I buy. What people do is just, MTN did close to 200% last year, maybe 169 or so. And some people, they just hear MTN, blah, blah, blah. They buy at resistance. It will now start falling. They quickly take their money. And so, there is a price to buy. Institutional investors are the one moving the market. Imagine someone, let's say those in US, someone has $10 billion and they want to buy shares. Do you think they will buy at any price? No. They will buy at support. And one of the things again that people don't know is that there's always price manipulation in the market. And this is what happens. Somebody wants to buy 10 billion naira shares, and the price is at this, and currently there's nobody that wants to sell. You know what they will do? Because they want to buy, they will manipulate the price to go, they will sell so that there will be demand, then they will not buy. You will not start saying that the price action is like this, like this. So they manipulate the price sometimes. So that's why as a retail investor, you don't just buy at any price. So we also have, I can't see it clearly. I think this is, okay, this is Zenith Bank. I have Zenith Bank in my portfolio. If you observed last year, I don't know if you observed, in November last year, there was a pullback that the shares of Nigeria just went. So this was that pullback in November last year. So when it pulled back, I bought at the pullback, and Zenith Bank is around 110 as at this week. In fact, on Tuesday, it just went up, and I think they opened a new branch in Manchester. So now, if someone wants to buy Zenith Bank, the best thing is to wait for it to pull back to this resistance before buying. My Zenith Bank that I bought at this support is already doing like 60% as at this week. So knowledge is very, very important. This is Unilever. I bought Unilever also. I discovered there was a bullish pennant I bought, and this is the price target. So this is Dangote also, one of the stocks in my portfolio, and this is Okumu. How many of us have been following Okumu Oil and Presco? They've been, Presco is now pulling back, and I'm waiting. I don't have Presco in my portfolio, but I'm waiting for it to pull back, and so that I can buy. So this is my current portfolio. I use Afri Invest, and I only have 6 shares in my portfolio. You don't need to have plenty shares in order to make money. So for me, I only buy shares that I can see a bullish pattern, meaning that a shares that I can see that is going up. And where I learned not to have so many shares, the last year, 2025, the best, I think, fund manager last year had only about 7 shares in its portfolio, and it beat others. So you don't need to buy, like they say this one is going up, you are just going. They say this one is doing well. No, it's not in the quantity, but how well. So I have 6 shares, and as at date, I'm already doing 26%. And the Nigerian Stock Exchange has done 29%. So that means I'm not doing badly. So my Zenith Bank is the highest. I have 63%. Unilever about 19. It's not everything that is up. Transcom is about 8% down. Access Bank is about 3% down. So I'm just showing all of this for us to see that there are opportunities in the Nigerian equity market. But knowledge is very, very key. The stock exchange is a place where one can use it for and also make it up. So if we don't have the knowledge of when should I buy, when should I sell, or what is even your own objective, normally I should have maybe take profit in my Zenith Bank shares, but my objective is to hold and to keep buying. So we must know what is our objective. So the second part of it is all this grammar that I've said. It's not everybody that is interested in buying shares by themselves. It's not everybody that has the technical knowledge of sitting down. So what's the easiest way forward? That's where mutual funds come in. So it means that for equity fund, you must know when to come in. So I don't usually advise people to do equity fund at any time of the year. Just start in January so that you can partake of the average. So that's one thing, because when you go to Stanbic Asset Management now, people will just start saying, equity fund 50, money market 20. You go and click on the higher one. You not be saying they won't grab me. Or just like, so it's the knowledge. They didn't know that it is year to date. So there's another kind of mutual fund called balance fund. Balance fund means balance in between money market and equity. The money is invested, part of it in money market, part of it in equity. So balance fund is also a type of mutual fund whereby worst case scenario, if equity is doing anyhow, the money market part of it is balancing it up. So, etc., etc. There are also other funds that. So last year, 2025, the average money market was 18%, which was above inflation rate. Equity fund, we have average return of 50%. Balance fund, 31%. Can you see the rates, how it works? The reason why mutual funds are not that pronounced in Nigeria, number one, most of the asset managers are owned by banks. So it is a fight between a bank worker that needs deposits and their subsidiary that needs deposits. A bank worker that is a relationship manager will hardly tell you about mutual fund. Why? Because you are competing with his own deposit mobilization. So GTB has asset manager called GTB fund managers. Through your GTB app, you can subscribe for their mutual funds. United Capital is owned by UBA. FBN West asset manager is owned by First Bank. Stanbic is the most popular in the market. So most people usually go for Stanbic, but Stanbic rate is not even part of the first 10. The reason is that the more money you have as a fund manager, the harder it is for you to get higher interest rates. Because this money has to be invested. It's always a headache for someone that has huge amount of money to invest it. And that's the honest truth. It's easy for you to invest 1 billion naira than for you to invest 100 billion naira. Because you have to look for the instrument. Let's say Dangote Cement is launching 100 billion commercial paper. Can we Stanbic alone give him all the money? No, because people are fighting for it. Maybe the only thing they are able to invest is 20. They will not start looking for other opportunities. So, as at 2026, this is the third top 10 money markets in the country. My office is at number 3, STL money markets. We are doing 20%. We can see that there is no even stamping in this list. So let's look at the global opportunities. It is still also tilted towards equity. From Nigeria, what are the opportunities ahead in this year? So one that I can figure out is also an IPO by SpaceX. How many of you have heard about it? SpaceX, Elon Musk's company. They are going to be having their IPO this year also, and it's going to be massive also. About their valuation is about 1.5 trillion, etc., etc., and we can partake in it from Nigeria. There are apps or there are brokers that you can even use your naira. They allow you to convert your naira to dollar for you to buy. I think Chaka does that. There is Bamboo, there is True, etc., etc. So you can partake. So 2 main opportunities this year in their mutual funds. So someone that has 1 billion in their mutual fund, some of them decided that they don't want to buy property or they don't want to build. Why? Because an average money market is giving them 20%. So imagine someone that is earning 200 million in a year without doing nothing. And just thought about it. I want to go and buy a land, I want to build, when we are getting tenants, etc., etc. So a lot of persons are taking advantage of the high interest rate regime. So there are a lot of opportunities. We must prepare and we need to take action. Praise God. So thank you very much. Yeah, any question?
We have different parts of food, and I put it down into carbohydrates, protein, fats and oil, fiber and nutrients. Now the typical Nigerian diet, 80% is carbohydrates. So if you go for like 100, for example, right, just even try. Have you seen those servings they give sometimes like is this tester? You know how they put the rice? Like 2 servings, right? And then they'll put protein 2 or 1, and then they'll put like salad. A side they put salad, so then they'll just put 1 cucumber there to let it not be as if you did not but it's actually a way that you're supposed to eat at every meal. So half of your plate should be veggies. And we'll talk about it more. Half of your plate should be veggies. 1/4 of your plate should be carbs. And 1/4 of your plate should be protein. Now, everybody, there is a certain amount of energy that your body needs for different tasks. That means that, remember I said our body works like a machine, looking for efficiency. So, for men, it's about 2,800 to 3,200 calories. Right? Don't worry. Just use it as units, like NEPA units, right? And then for women, it's about 2,200 to 2,500. So that is what your body needs to be able to do your daily tasks. Now, what happens when we eat more than that? I'll come back to this, but I want to explain this. Is that your body will now save it. Right? So your body will not say, because you gave me 5,000 today, I must use all the 5,000 today. It's a machine, it's programmed. It knows that you need 2,800. So what will you do? It will take your 2,2 and you put it in the bank. What is the bank? It converts it to fat. Thank you. And it saves it in different areas of your body. It saves it in different areas of your body for what? For later. It's like, you know how they say the time of plenty and the time of, so your body is like, this might be the time of plenty, let me save. So that's what your body will be doing. Will be saving. And that's how we now start seeing our neck, our tummy, and some people, it doesn't even show outwardly. That's why it's not just about weight. Sometimes it's around your organs. People's hearts, liver, it's covered with fat. so what happens is that your organ now has to use more energy to do the work. I don't know if you understand. It's like the way I will walk without carrying a backpack is different from if I'm carrying a backpack. Do you understand? So why should we do our plates like this? Not only does it help us get the necessary nutrients, one, two, it ensures that we are full. One reason why many of us eat large meals is one to be full. Now, but even without our fullness, it can be trained. If over time you've been eating 4 wraps of amala, I'm just giving an example of food. If you've been eating 4 wraps of food, because sometimes when you go for all this wellness clinic, you'll say, you know, and when you feel full, but the truth is that that full feeling is trained. If you've been eating 4 wraps, until you eat that 4 wraps, you will not be full. Because it's also a mind thing. So why does this help you feel full? Veggies help you feel full, and protein too. And then carbs give you energy. So that rice, it's not that rice is bad, because you need energy. But rice should not be the main meal. Why? When you eat a lot of carbohydrates, it spikes your blood sugar, right? Especially when you don't have things like veggies to help reduce how fast the sugar enters your bloodstream. So when you eat veggies and protein with it, your blood sugar is more stable. What will happen? Not only will you feel fuller, but you will not get as hungry. That is that you will be fuller for longer. Let me give an example. How many of us have felt tired and we drank Coke and you felt energetic? And then after like 2 hours, it just goes. Right? So what has happened? Blood sugar has gone up and dropped. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to stabilize our energy. So I want to move fast, sorry. So that's just for nutrition. We'll come back. Remember I said that you can do it for any meal. And that's why even it includes budget. If we are eating bread and eggs, for example, for breakfast, instead of having 5 slices, you can do 2 or 3, right? And then you can have like maybe 1 or 2 eggs, and then maybe have half a cucumber by the side. Do we understand? We'll talk about it, don't worry. Don't worry. So people are already giving me food.
The question will ask you.
Yes. You say how? Don't worry, we're coming. We're coming. Okay, so the next thing is movement. Movement, when we think about movement, we think exercise. And one of the most popular exercises is walking. So anytime people say, oh, I walk, and cardio is good for the heart. But something that they've noticed is that many of us are not building muscle. Right? And muscle is the organ of longevity. Like they said that if you want to live long, and not just live long, but live an independent, long life, you should be building muscle. Yes, exactly. So you see that people in the gym, it's not because they just like suffering. It's actually because they want to live. Research has shown that many people after 60, if they fall, they will most. I think like 40%, they are likely to die. They might not recover because they don't have muscle. Barely have any muscle. How many of us were not building? How many of us have carried weights recently? Not weights. When I say weights, I'm not talking about just gym. I'm saying carry a bag of rice, carry a speaker, you're moving things around the house. It's not mostly our men. It's our men, are we? Our women, are we carrying loads? I'm carrying baby. I carry it up. So,
if you see the mental ways where they carry like I know they carry next time school fees. They never do exam for this time.
I'm not talking about virtual weights. I'm talking about actual weights.
Actual virtual.
grandma. She passed when she was 90. But even before she passed, she used to do things that I'm like, this woman is not old. She would wake up, lay her bed, bath, dress up, come down with her bag, read her newspaper, move around the house. You know, she was living her life. We were not taking care of her. I remember there was a year before she passed. When we came to the house, she was going upstairs. And she carried her heavy bag, and he wanted to help her, and she's like, no, I can carry it.
That bag was very heavy.
Very heavy bag, but there's nothing that is not in that thing, even destiny. She had everything. Anything you ask for, she will not bring it out. It was a very heavy bag. And even till like 87, she was still driving. So, muscle is the organ. So, yeah, so that kind of tweaked my perception of old age. Because when you see many old people around, they need help walking, you have to bath them, you want to, so, and I mean, we're not saying we don't want to take care of our parents or our loved ones, but there's actually another way. And so I started watching videos, you know, and I've seen so many, especially white people. They are 80, 89, they are going to the gym. They are carrying weights, and I'm the thing was like doing my head like, it can't be that they are white, right? So I started doing, when I started seeing some black people too. And the issue is muscle. We're not building muscle. And especially women, for women, they say by the time you clock 30, you start losing muscle. So you need to actively build it. And if you can maintain it, you are more likely to be able to sit down on the toilet and stand up by yourself when you are 70. Not needing help. Not only does muscle ensure that we are independent, it is said that building muscle helps us avert 15%. It gives you a 15% chance of averting chronic diseases. We are talking about things like stroke, cancer, heart failure, just by building muscle. So when you see people in gym, they should be inspiring you.
Disconnected.
Okay, so let's talk about sleep. This one is a big one. Because Nigerians feel like sleep is waste of time. Or just resting in general. No, why are we resting? There's money to be made. Then, and you know, one character that I really love in the Bible, apart from many characters, is Jesus. It's one of my favorite characters. And I'm always joking that, thank God Jesus was always sleeping. Because if not, many of us will be claiming it to say, no, there's prophecy over me. I cannot sleep. But we see that even Jesus, with his very busy schedule, he always found time to sleep. He was always resting. None of us is more busy than Jesus. Thank you.
God is asleep.
Thank you. Do you know that to show how big of a deal that rest is? If you read the Old Testament, you see God always talking about Sabbath. You must rest. Nobody should do any work. Even your cattle should not do anything. But yet, many of us are averse from rest. Right? We don't want to rest. We want to make money now. And I mean, this is a place I really want to stay with. One thing that we see was the reason why God kept hammering rest on Israelites is because they used to be slaves. And when you are a slave, there's nothing really there like rest. What are you resting for? Have you watched all those slavery films before? You have no life, you have no time. It is your dictator that dictates your life. And even though many of us are not in chains, we are actually slaves in many ways. To our jobs, to our desires, to our passion. We have made ourselves slaves. We can't rest, we can't sleep, we can't take time off. And do you know how we're paying for it? In alignment. Because many times you can't hear God when you are busy. When you are running around, when you are desperate. You know, there's a scripture I really like. It says, learn the unforced readings of grace. And I really like us to read it. burden on you. It's not really part of our topic, but it's something that I also teach, where we see that God is actually calling us to a different way of living. We're working from a place of fear of lack, fear of poverty, fear of what the future will hold. We're doing so many things. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing so many things. I do so many things, right? But our so many things is not what causes us to prosper. That's the truth. Alignment is better than effort. How do we know? Look at Peter. The Bible says he did what? He told all night. Exactly. And then he said, at the word of Jesus, he went and he caught more than enough. Now, nothing changed about the methodology that Peter used. What was the difference? Jesus' direction. And so this is something that we actually have to learn because what causes a lack of rest? The reason why people say, I can't sleep 6 hours, I can't sleep. Do you know that they say we should sleep 7 to 9 hours? But when I'm advising Nigerians, I say sleep 6 hours. Just try, do 6 hours. Because many people don't want to sleep. And many times it's a fear of what will tomorrow bring. So, how can you solve this thing and finally start sleeping? Bible says that we should not worry about what tomorrow brings.
We have
But
questions.
don't write it. I'm here for you. So let's talk about stress management. How to manage stress. So stress is inevitable. We cannot avoid it. Even if you are a calm person, your spouse is amazing, your children don't give you stress. When you are going to work, there might be one conductor that is provoked. It will spoil your day. Or maybe your boss doesn't know how to regulate their emotions. They dump on you, or someone trauma dumps on you or something. So you can't avoid stress. However, you can determine how it affects your life. And many times when we don't manage stress, it shows. It shows in our health, it shows in our well-being, it shows in our attitude. You'll be less joyous, and it affects so many things. So something that I usually say about this, and I'm moved, is one, we should guard our hearts. Be mindful of what you take in. Be mindful of what you are hearing, what you are listening to, what you are spending time on. That's one. Two, learn to know what you can control and what you cannot control. That means that sometimes you are in a situation. What you can do about it, for example, let's say someone says, landlords have started increasing rental. My friend 200%, my friend 300%. But your landlord has not come to say anything to you. Maybe you still have 8 months. Instead of every day saying, hey, what can you do? Something you can do is you can start saving more, right? Something you can do is start looking for places around. But the truth is that dwelling on it and saying, God, what every time you see your landlord, hey, why that face? So learn what you can control. That's 2. 3, note your triggers. Some of us, we have triggers, and we don't know they are triggers. So, for example, now, maybe your trigger is that you don't like being rushed. If somebody does something impromptu, it really gets to you. That's a trigger. So when you know that that's your trigger, and you know that your wife likes lateness, like me, how can you better manage that? Because you know it's a trigger, right? Another thing can be, maybe when people don't appreciate you, you feel stressed, you start overthinking. How can you manage that? How can you ensure that, okay, even if nobody's appreciating you, you can acknowledge what you are doing and feel good about it? And the last thing is use practical tools to manage and keep your joy. There are different ways that you can manage and keep your joy. But first, as a believer, is to actually take your cares to God. That's something something that really works. And the Bible says that we should cast our cares on Him. Exactly. So taking it to God, talking to Him, letting Him encourage and comfort you, and even give you direction. Another thing that I also teach people is the breathing technique. So usually when I feel stressed, before I react, I put my hand on my chest and I breathe in and out twice. What does it help you do? Many times when you are stressed and you want to react, what is happening is your nervous system is overwhelmed. So what breathing in and out does is it helps. Think about it like a balloon that is full, right? And so when you are breathing in and out, what you are doing is you are letting out some air. So it's not as, then you can now think logically before you shoot somebody. Okay, so building the air. So let's talk about building the lifestyle. Many times when people hear talks like this, maybe they say, oh, reduce your oil. Because oil is another thing that really affects us in Nigerian diet. In a tablespoon, a tablespoon of oil has 120 calories. 1 tablespoon. Now remember I said that men, your calorie intake for the day is about 2.8 to 3.2. Now many of us when we are frying egg, you can use like 6 tablespoons. Now 6 times 120 is 720 minus the egg. So that's like 1/3 of your calories in just oil. So many of us were eating like 6,000 calories as we are like this. If you really sit down, you are eating for 4 people. You are eating for 3 people. So what you are doing is you are overworking your system. Do you understand that? So when people hear talks like this, they'll not say, I remember I had a friend. She watched a documentary about this thing. She just came to my house. I will never eat bread. I will never eat cake. I say, hey, the way I'm thinking about this thing. And by the time I saw it forward, she was eating everything. Because the thing about it is that many of us have lived 3-4 decades living the way that we're living. You can't change it in 2 weeks. You can't change it in 1 year. So it's a journey. Instead of now, when you hear me, you now say, oh, I'm going to change everything today. A first step can be, I noticed that I don't even eat any fruit in a week. Can I try and eat 1 fruit a week? Can I try and drink more water? Can I try and sleep 1 hour earlier than usual? Can I try and take a walk? They say we should be carrying loads. Instead of letting my husband carry this pure water, can I carry it? Small changes, what do? They help you build the lifestyle. Let me just share a little story about me. So I've always been big all my life. As a child, if you check my children pictures, I was bigger than everybody. I remember that even as a teenager, sometimes, in this particular one, let me share this one. My parents went for a meeting, so they took me. And I think I was like 14. I got there, they brought me to the front, thinking I was like a guest speaker or something. Brought me to the front. They gave me this big pack of food, with 2 chivita, my brothers were sitting at the back in children's chair. Now my brother, the difference between us 2 years, so he was 12. They gave him capsule with plastic. I gave him my bag and he's like, I know you were not supposed to be there. That's how big I was. Right? I remember that I think when I was in GS2, I weighed more than my dad. In GS2. So I had been struggling with my weight for a very long time. And every time that people talk about wellness, I used to zone off. I had a classmate, she lost weight. So I would talk to her, how do people lose weight? She said, you only eating salad. No yam, no rice. I said, only salad. She said, yes. Chicken salad, fish salad. And I said, I can't live like this now. So it really threw me off. But then I now found out about these small changes. And so I started, okay, I want to be eating more veggies. How can I add veggies to my meal, even if it's small? Okay, I want to be reducing my oil. I want to be eating more fruit. Okay, I want to be walking. I want to understand. I remember last year when I started working out again, I would come out and work out for 15 minutes. I remember that I would come out and come back to my husband and say, yeah, finish. I said, I'm finished. I just did something. You know? And these small changes, what did they do to my life? First of all, my skin cleared. You can only understand this thing if you see the picture of what my skin looks like. My skin cleared. I had given up on my skin, so thank you. Look at my face now. My brethren, you. Thank you, thank you. So my skin cleared, that was the first thing. Then I started using the weights. Oh, you want to see it? I don't want. Thank you. I'm not getting the mind to post it online. So my skin changed.